March 1971, Geneva Motor Show. Among the many innovations, presented by Italian brands and stylists, a small sports car for the general public stands out. The Fiat 128 Rally. Based on the two-door variant of the successful Fiat sedan, it completes the 128 offer, already very rich in the early 1970s. The new version is added to the two- or four-door sedan and the station wagon. The 128 Rally was born for two main reasons: to offer a sports variant of the 128, to be included in a new slice of the market, that of economic sports such as the Simca Rally E1, the NSU TT, the Renault 8S, the Ford Escort GT, and the Opel Kadett Rally, which attracts young customers. Furthermore, as an economy of scale operation, it serves to dispose of the many two-door bodies which, at least in the Italian market, are not in great demand. But, what was the 128 Rally? The 128's well-known bodywork is sportingly interpreted. The most noticeable change is the rear, characterized by the new double round light clusters. They are the same ones adopted by the 850 Sport Coupe of 1968. The front features the honeycomb grille, colored in matte black, on which the round Fiat frieze, with a red background, stands out, typical of the sports versions of the brand. Change the front bumper, now divided into two side segments, joined by a tubular profile. There are two driving lights, mounted on the bumpers, which act as high beams. The side view shows a black adhesive band, with white borders, which crosses the lower part of the side. The Fiat rhomboid frieze appears on the front fender. The Rally plates, applied on the edge of the bonnet and rear bonnet, complete the aesthetic characterization. The wheel rims are the famous Fiat with round holes, with chrome cup. On request, Chromadora magnesium alloy wheels. There are four colors available: white 233, orange red 171, lemon yellow 242, Arctic gray 609. Inside, the seats change, slightly more profiled, and with a lower seat, equipped with small adjustable headrests. Seats and door panels are upholstered in good quality black sky. The pavilion is covered in black perforated synthetic material. The floor is covered with a rubberized carpet. The dashboard is that of the normal 128. The panel in front of the passenger changes, which on the Rally is in black plastic, and is edged by an aluminum profile. The Rally plate appears on the right side. On the floor, a console houses ashtrays, and two storage compartments. The instrumentation is completed by a rev counter on the panel, and by a water thermometer and oil pressure gauge in the center of the dashboard, instead of the ashtray. The steering wheel is the classic Fiat with two perforated spokes, that equips other sports versions of the brand, with a black plastic crown, and a round horn in the center. On the first presentation photos, and, apparently, on some pre-series specimens, the crown was in imitation wood. Slightly changes the shape of the accelerator pedal, more suitable for performing a perfect heel-toe. The rear side windows, with compass opening, are standard. The list of optional accessories includes front seatbelts, standard on some export markets, a thermic windows, heated rear window, radio antenna incorporated in the windscreen. Aftermarket, it was possible to mount different types of car radios. The trunk remains unchanged. The basis is that common to the 128, at that time, technical and performance excellence in its category. The first official Fiat front-wheel drive, designed by Dante Giacosa, stands out for the simplicity and rationality of the mechanical arrangement. The engine is the well-known and appreciated single-shaft, signed by Aurelio Lamperti. Simple and refined, it is a short-stroke, inline four-cylinder, equipped with features typical of racing engines, such as 5 bench supports. On the Rally, the 1290cc displacement makes its debut. It is equipped with a Weber 32D MTR double-barrel carburetor. The declared power is 67 horsepower at 6,200 revolutions per minute. It is a limited value, compared to the potential of the engine, but in Fiat, they decide not to exaggerate, both, in order not to create a car that is too fast, both, in order not to hinder the 128 Coupe, that will be presented shortly, and with 75 horsepower, it will be the true sports car of the 128 range. The torque is 9 kilograms at 4,000 revolutions per minute. The gearbox is 4-speed, and maintains the same ratios as the 128 1.1. The braking system maintains the same setting as the normal 128, with discs at the front and drums at the rear, and braking regulator at the rear. The only, but important variant, is the brake booster. The suspension layout follows that of the normal versions, McPherson system at the front, with stabilizer bar, at the rear, cross arms and leaf spring, with stabilizing function. The whole is slightly stiffened. 145 HR13 tires, on 4.5x 13-inch sheet metal rims. On request, Chromadora magnesium alloy wheels. The tank has a capacity of 38 liters. The dimensions are compact, and the weight of 820 kilograms reduced, but in line with the cars of the period. Fiat declares a top speed of 150 km per hour, and an average consumption of 12 km with 1 liter. The test of the Italian magazine, Quattro Vuoti, reveals a higher speed, and interesting acceleration values. And the real surprise, is the consumption, which in all measurements, is lower than the 1.1 version, with an excellent 16 km at liter at 90 km per hour. Driving the 128 Rally is safe and fun. Road holding is at reference levels. For the period, it is easy to control, even when going fast. Compared to the 1.1, it is more understeer, due to the stiffer setup, and shows a tendency to lift the inner rear wheel, in tight corners, although less evidently, than the normal 128. In the wet, the understeer increases, but the car remains controllable, while, on the bumpy, it jumps, and the behavior of the rear requires attention. Braking is improved, thanks to the brake booster. The gearbox is very maneuverable, but the ratios of the 1.1 do not adapt perfectly to the torque curve of the 1.3 engine. They prefer acceleration from standstill, but, in recovery from low RPM, they turn out to be a bit long. Probably, a 5-speed gearbox would have improved the behavior. Furthermore, it has a tendency to get out the first gear on bumpy paths. The 128 Rally immediately received a good success, thanks also to the low list price. In a short time, a reputation as a brilliant and economical car was created. In February 1972, the color range expanded, with the brilliant green 374, already available for the 128 Coupe. October 1972, the 128 Rally is renewed. Externally, there is only the modification of the front bumper, which has a black plastic protection on the connecting bar of the two bumpers. Arctic Grey is replaced by light green 304, more like a sky blue. Internally, the upholstery of the seats changes, which keeps the black sky for the sides, but is in striped fabric. In the central part, red for white and light green cars, ochre for red cars, lemon yellow and bright green. As a tradition, Giannini presents his interpretation of the 128 Rally. Called 128 NP Rally, aesthetically, it is the same as the official Rally. The Giannini shield appears on the grille, at the rear, the Giannini and 128 NP plates. On request, alloy wheels, which can be of different designs, electronic ignition, anatomic seats, sports trim, radio. Also on request, the bonnets could be painted in matte black. Internally, the steering wheel, with a reduced diameter to 3 spokes, and the Giannini shield on the dashboard. On request, additional instrumentation. The major changes are those inherent to the mechanicals. The engine is processed with polishing of the ducts, modification of the valves, and head flattening. Modified camshaft, stock carburetor with different calibrations, sports air filter and exhaust. It delivers 81.5 horsepower at 6,600 revolutions per minute, and has a torque of 10 kg at 4,600 revolutions per minute. The Giannini declares a maximum speed of 170 km per hour, and acceleration on km from standstill, in 32 seconds, consumption is 11 km/liter, in the combined. Later, the Giannini presents the 128 NP Rally 1600. Aesthetically identical to the NP 1300, it comes with alloy wheels and a sporty setup as standard. The displacement of the Lampredi single shaft grows to 1,580 cc. The declared power is 93 horsepower at 6,600 revolutions per minute, and the torque has an excellent value of 16 kg at 3,600 revolutions per minute, which promises first-rate performance. The Giannini declares a maximum speed of 175 km per hour, and an acceleration, on the km from standstill, in just 30 seconds. The declared consumption is 12 km/liter, in the combined. There is no certain information on the number of specimens produced. The 128 Rally was also marketed in North America and Canada. The body had all the safety features required by American regulations: shock-absorbing bumpers, body reinforcements, and side marker lights. The Rally writings are adhesive. The engine is equipped with a catalyst, and declares a power of 61 horsepower, and lower performance than the European versions. Since its inception, the 128 has been a widely used car in competitions. He achieved great results, especially on the track and in hill climbs, thanks also to the good base frame, and to an engine that lends itself to even substantial processing. Some tuners came to develop 150 horsepower from 1.1, and over 170 horsepower from 1.3. The lightness and ease of driving made it a winning car in its class. The Rally also follows this path, but, paradoxically, it has fewer developments than the normal 128, which was preferred for the lower initial cost. With the same processing base, never officially developed, it had a good success in rallies, and boasts the absolute victory for 4 years in a row, from 1971 to 1974, at the Canadian Winter Rally, driven by Jean-Paul Perouse, and at the first rally in the Canary Islands. It has recently been rediscovered in historic rallies and hill climbs. The spread of the 128 Rally goes in parallel with the fashion of elaborations, born in Italy in the early 60s, and grown exponentially, with the debut of 128, 127 and 126. The Rally was also subject to changes, among the most popular, hoods painted in matte black, alloy wheels of various designs, sports exhaust systems, and lowered suspension. At the beginning of 1975, after a progressive lack of interest from customers, the 128 Rally leaves the scene. It is a car that ushered in an era, and left regret in many former owners. The 128 Rally is the first openly sporty version. Derived from a production Fiat car, it inaugurates that philosophy, which was then continued by the 127 Sport, and 131 Racing, of the late 1970s. They have produced many, but not too many, so today it is quite rare. In fact, many have been sacrificed, on the altar of the wild scrapping of recent decades. Others have ended up in the fields, devoured by rust. Some have instead finished the days in competition. After years of oblivion, it is enjoying growing interest, and deserved revaluation.